Hello YouTube! Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting in a Fan, and I had to turn off the fan because I was feeling a bit nippy and chilly and chippy. Anyway, so just for my own peace of mind, Drake, this camera is in frame and okay, good. Thank you. So, and of course that was Drake, more commonly known as my awesome audiovisual person for my YouTube videos. So it is my pleasure to do the parade spread from the Pride Tarot, a collaborative deck, which was published by US Game Systems in April 2020, which means it was published 4 years ago next month. Now, so that I could fit all the cards in, I had to condense it a little bit, but for those of you who want to play along at home, in the description box I will include the information, or as I would say, the juicy about the parade spread, as well as what the card positions are, as well as what they represent. So I'm going to read it to you and then we're going to go from there. So this is for all of you watching this video, and of course for those of us who are members of the LGBTQIA2S+ community, this will have, and our allies, this may have even more of an impact on us. It may or may not. We'll see what happens. You'll have to let me know in the comments. So, for this spread, one chooses the Grand Marshal card. And I'm actually going to switch to my my super mega powered reading glasses. Okay, so the Grand Marshal card. Before shuffling the deck, select a card to represent the Grand Marshal of the parade. This is someone who is a hero or role model to you. Since I am casting the cards on behalf of the collective, I figured I would use the card that I associate with my mother goddess, the goddess more commonly known as Isis, and that is the High Priestess card. Shuffle the rest of the cards, pull a card for each position, and lay them out face down as shown. Turn each card over one at a time as you read them. So, card number 1, Beginnings. What is the collective's goal, and how can the collective get started on manifesting that goal? And it is the Empress. So clearly, the Empress is about divine love, healing energy. It is about nourishing and nurturing our bodies and minds, giving us the fuel to move forward. And you know, not necessarily in this particular tarot deck, but classically in a lot of different tarot decks, especially those tarot decks that are mythical or mythological, the Empress card depicts Demeter, the Greek goddess of spring, motherhood, grain, and abundance. And for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, the first day of spring, or the date of Ostara, or the vernal equinox, is on Tuesday, March 19th, 2024. The Sun officially enters Aries on that date at 11 p.m. and 6 minutes. So, and believe it or not, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to spring. I love my winter, but I'm looking forward to spring. Okay, so the next card is card number 2, Challenges. What are the challenges the collective faces in moving forward? And that card is the Sun. The Sun. Which I love the fact that the Sun card is the card that has been featured on the cover of the box and in all of as the thumbnail for all of these videos. So here's what I'm getting from the Sun card, because again, this is in the challenges position, card number 2. What are the challenges the collective faces in moving forward? How many of you in YouTube land are afraid of radiating your light, of shining your light forth into the universe? How many of you have been playing it small for so long you don't even realize you're playing it small? I am being reminded of something that an amazingly talented, intuitive psychic medium named Monica told me at a psychic fair, a psychic and healing fair that I did in November of last year, and it was a message that was relayed to Monica for me from her guides and from my late maternal grandmother, and that is that I need to stop being a quiet assassin. So how many of you in YouTube land are still being quiet assassins? So the challenge is to radiate your light, shine forth, stop playing small, and start being as bright and as big as the sun. Card number 3, which is directly across from card number 2, and that is support. Who or what is supporting your efforts? Who or what is supporting the efforts of the collective? Card number 3 is the Judgment card. Okay, I want to let you know this is not a majors only reading. I did shuffle this tarot deck thoroughly on numerous occasions. And yet, we have the Judgment card. So we have the support, the collective has the support of people in positions of authority, in experts and people who are experts in their respective fields. Because it is the Judgment card, we also have the support of people who are very knowledgeable in matters of law and matters of different kinds of law or different legal specialties. And what I heard very briefly was academic law, and I also heard entertainment law. So there could be experts in legal fields that are also supporting us in the endeavors that we, the collective, are moving forward in attracting and manifesting. And next we have card number 4. And I'm actually going to turn the cards over so that all of you in YouTube land can see them more clearly. And see them upright from your position. Okay, so actually the Empress is card number 1, beginnings. The Sun is card number 2, challenges. The Judgment card is card number 3, support. And this is card number 4, change. What needs to change in order for us in the collective to move forward? And that card is, as I switch glasses, 5 of Swords, illustrated by Devon Khalil Faries. So, one change that needs to be made is finalizing decisions. You know, recently somebody who has been a subscriber to my YouTube channel for a while and has also availed herself of my psychic services reminded me that when the Sun enters Aries, or the date of the vernal equinox for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, is when the new year begins. And then again, it makes perfect sense because in Western astrology, the new astrological year begins on the date when the Sun enters Aries. So what changes and what decisions do we in the collective need to finalize once and for all? And stop going back and forth about? Because remember, one of the traditional meanings of the 5 of Swords is indecision. So what decisions do we keep going back and forth on? Like, is this the right decision? Is this the wrong decision? Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? It's time to make it official. It's like, you know what? This is it. This is it. We got to do this. We're going to do it. And that's that. So that is what needs to be finalized. And absolutely, I do agree with that. So, and even yours truly, I've been looking at what decisions I need to finalize. And I also know that there are certain things that need to be provided for and made available before I can really move forward in those decisions. But that's definitely another topic for another video. Not necessarily for another video, but definitely another topic for another day. Right, Drake? Right. Okay, so now we are at card number 5. Progress. What signs of progress do we in the collective see? And what have we in the collective learned so far? Card number 5, Progress. And that is the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords is reminding us to take stock. Okay, it's like, okay, so this is what we've accomplished so far. This is what we've accomplished since the vernal equinox for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere. And the date when the Sun entered Aries last year in 2023. So this is what we have accomplished so far professionally, personally, magically, spiritually, with our studies, with our relationships, romantic and otherwise, with our connection to spirit, with our connection to ourselves, with our relationships with ourselves. And we're being reminded to continually take stock. We've accomplished this. What's next? We've accomplished that. What's next? Are we missing anything? Do we need documents? Do we need details? And you know, it's funny that the Page of Swords came out for this card because historically, I've noticed time and again that whenever we are approaching a pre-Mercury retrograde storm, or where we're in the midst of a pre-Mercury retrograde storm, or a Mercury transit, or a Mercury retrograde transit, or when we're in the post-Mercury retrograde storm, I will see this card, the Page of Swords. It has happened more times than I can count. And I will tell you that, and it's funny because in the back of my head, last week, I remember when it was the last few days of February 2024, I was thinking to myself, when is the next Mercury retrograde? Because I already began seeing shades of, or signs of, the pre-Mercury retrograde storm. And off the top of my head, I do not recall when the first Mercury retrograde of 2024 is. But then again, I am well aware of the fact that there are only 2 planets in Western astrology that do not engage in retrograde transit, the Sun and the Moon. Every other planet from Mercury to Pluto retrogrades. And both in 2020 and last year in 2023, there were occasions of at least 2 to 4 month periods where no less than 5 planets were retrograding simultaneously. So make no mistake, when I focus on which planets are retrograding, I'm not just focusing on Mercury. Because if you really want to know how to handle a Mercury retrograde, just have no contact with the outside world, turn off your phone and your computer for the duration of a Mercury retrograde. Most of us will not do that because most of us either cannot do that, or we believe we cannot do that, or we simply don't want to do that. I had a friend who's a professional astrologer, and every time Mercury retrograded, he was unavailable. His friend would say he was calling out sick during a Mercury retrograde, and I thought it was one of the most brilliant things I'd ever heard. But that's definitely something else for another day. Okay, and then the last card in the parade spread is Conclusion. What is the end result of the collective's journey? And that is the Knight of Wands. I love this card because I've often interpreted this card as the card of the spiritual warrior. So even though this card is representing the conclusion of this spread, it is also about a new beginning. And I must say, every time I have looked at the Knight of Wands in the Pride Tarot, illustrated by Anita Inverarity, I think about the artwork in the Aquarian Tarot by David Palladini, because it looks very similar to that artwork. I want to do a quick check-in with Drake to make sure that all of the cards in the spread can be seen. Okay, and now I'm going to turn over the final message card, which I have started interpreting for myself as what we need to understand, or what needs to be understood in addition to the cards that were pulled that were part of the spread. And I also will look at the final message card, regardless of whether I'm using tarot, oracle cards, Lenormand, or any other card reading system, as the hidden message. And that is the King of Pentacles, the last card in this tarot deck. So this card is also symbolizing that there is a new opportunity for us in the collective to be more financially prosperous, to have more abundance of financial health and physical health, to have more abundance in physical energy and in physical vitality, and to have this storehouse of physical energy and also a connection to the physical realm. So I feel like this conclusion is bringing us to a whole new beginning, and even in the interpretation provided by Helen and Nelson Reed in the accompanying guidebook, this card represents Taurus energy. Now, offhand, I do not recall when the Sun enters Taurus, but usually the Sun is in Aries from March 19th to April 20th. So I feel like this card is indicating a new beginning, or the continuation of this new beginning represented by the Knight of Wands in the conclusion position, as something that is beginning when the Sun is in Aries and continuing forward while the Sun is in Taurus. And I would even say becoming more settled, becoming more stabilized while the Sun is in Taurus. It was an honor to cast the cards for the collective, using the Pride Tarot, a collaborative deck. And as always, I am most thankful to US Game Systems Incorporated for publishing a tarot deck that honors and celebrates the vast contributions and the massive legacies of the LGBTQIA2S+ community, a community of which I proudly form part. And of course, a huge thank you to all of you in YouTube land for honoring who I am and what I do, for all the likes, for all the comments, for all the shares, and for all the subscriptions to my YouTube channel. And an extra big and beautiful thank you to the individual who happens to be a Sun sign Taurus, who last night had a 90-minute video reading with me. And I am absolutely honored beyond belief, honored more than I can say. So, as always, to all of you in YouTube land, stay in tune with your intuition, stay safe, stay well, stay hydrated, and stay tuned for the next video.